So I'm going to play a song in a minute for you off of the album that Stefan was talking about. This album is called The Life and Times of Douglas Robinson. My grandfather is called Douglas Robinson. He was born in the late 30s, sort of just before the war kicked off. And so he grew up, like his core memories, his childhood, war, hunger, destruction. He has stories about walking to school and his friend is there and they're on their way to school and all of a sudden, boom, explosion, and his friend isn't there anymore. The skyline is different. They would sleep in the subway tunnels in the underground at night and didn't know if their house was gonna be there when they'd come up. And I interviewed him about all of this. Despite all of this, despite these being his core memories, he's probably the most optimistic and upbeat and happiest person I have ever known in my life. And when I interviewed him about this, that was a recurring theme as well, is you have to keep a positive outlook and you have to keep a positive worldview or these things will destroy you. And he could have very easily become overwhelmed and overcome by these traumas, and he's used them to grow. And I think that's honestly what we're all trying to achieve here, is growth and evolution. We recorded the album during COVID. It's an orchestral album. It's like a 20-piece orchestra, and we had to record it during COVID where we could only have 2 people in a room at a time. So that was not challenging at all. And I think we did a pretty good job of gluing it all together. But as I was working with these musicians and talking to them, at first this was an album about my grandfather and my family and World War II, and it's a nice juxtaposition to have it performed in Germany and recorded in Berlin and all of this. But as I talked to these performers, every single one of them has some sort of story that's related to this, whether it's to the Second World War or to another war or another tragedy. These are universal topics that impact everybody, and that became very apparent very quickly during the project. And so we evolved with the project is what ended up happening. These songs became more about the experience and the condition of the person that's living them and the people around them. It's not about who did what and in what country, and there's no blame laying, there's no geography or responsibility. It's just about experience and ideally hope. So for me, that's what this is about. You're gonna hear a lot of far more professional people talking about things I am not qualified to speak about. And I really hope that you use today for that opportunity, to listen to them, to grow, to evolve. My job is to set the tone and hopefully make a couple of you guys smile or cry or whatever, just feel something. So the song I'm gonna play for you is called Mushrooms. It's the 4th song on the album. You can find this online anywhere and all of that stuff, but I've always wanted to say this, so just before I start, thank you for coming to my TED Talk. We can kick it off now.
When my dad came home from the war, I had no money, basically. So what we used to do, we used to keep 1 ration book back. We had 4 rations book. So we didn't use it that week. So the next week we had 2 lots of ration. He would buy bacon and eggs with that extra. We had a lady that lived on our street that had a greengrocer's store where they sell potatoes and vegetables and that. Mushrooms, she used to hide them. You know those baskets that the mushrooms come in, little basket? She'd have one of those baskets hidden under the counter. And my dad would go up and say to her, Bella, you got any mushrooms this week? Yeah, I've got some for you, Sid. So he would buy the mushrooms and she'd fry the mushrooms up, and then we'd all stand round the pan sniffing. Oh, lovely smell of mushrooms. And then she'd dish them up. There was 4 of us. She'd take a teaspoon, no word of a lie, and scoop. That's all the mushrooms we got. My dad couldn't afford to buy any more. They was that expensive. There was just enough for 4 teaspoonfuls of, but we were having them once a month. Yeah. When my dad came home from the war, I had no money basically.